Okay, welcome back to episode 3 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Had a lot of interesting things happen this episode. Um, so I'm just going to get right into it. What did you think of this, Josh, overall?
I thought it was good. We had some characters show up. Um, really like the action sequences, and yeah, looking forward to talking about it.
Okay, great. Let me just say before we actually start that we have a new segment today. We're going to try this called Trending Upwards and Downwards. Josh and I each week are going to pick one actor or actress or significant figure in the movie television industry, and we're going to talk if they're, in our opinion, if they're trending upwards or downwards, and what their career's trajectory is like. So that'll be at the end of this episode. I'll probably put a timestamp on the YouTube clip on this. But for now, let's just get into episode 3, Falcon and Winter Soldier. We started off with this GRC promo video, which I kind of forgot about by the end of the episode, but there's like this little 30-second blurb of this supposed organization that is the Global was it the Repatriation Council? Did I get that right? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they're supposed to be helping people after the blip who've been displaced, who don't have homes or jobs, or who are just basically having a tough time with it. Um, and then we get a short scene with Fake Cap, John Walker, in Munich. He is raiding the safe house that Carly and the Flag Smashers had been at the previous episode. And Walker is super frustrated with the dude that is running that safe house. He kind of gets in his face a little bit, and I kind of saw this when he started yelling at the guy, and he said like, "Do you know who I am?" and stuff. I was like, "Whoa, okay, this is." I know he's frustrated and he's trying to do the right thing, but this is like a huge contrast to like Steve Rogers. And it's like Steve would never do something like that, or lose his temper like that. So I thought this was a good character moment for him, even though it was pretty short and uh, not a lot. We didn't. It wasn't a very long scene or anything. What did you think of that, Josh?
Yeah, I think our poor new Captain America is coming apart at the seams a little bit, and I think we see that a little bit more of that happening later on. Um, it's it's like it's almost like an allegory of America's role in international politics lately, where we're kind of
Ooh, okay, yeah.
losing the respect of others on the global stage, uh, for reasons that we won't get into because it's not a politics podcast. But that's what I thought of when I saw that scene.
That's an interesting take, yeah. And he definitely wants to do the right thing. He's just getting kind of coming apart at the seams, kind of getting desperate, I guess. So, and then he says something at the end. He says to his buddy, he says, maybe they need to bet on someone with a better hand. Is that an allusion to the power broker, or what did you think of that? Did I miss something here? Was it really obvious? I wasn't sure who he was talking about.
He he's referring to Sam and Bucky. So basically, he thinks they're gonna have better luck. So he's just gonna follow them, and they'll lead him to
Oh, okay.
the Flag Smashers.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, we cut away from him. We don't really see him a lot this episode. It's more about Bucky and Sam. Bucky and Sam go to the prison in Berlin where Zemo is being held. When they get there, Bucky insists on going in alone first. And when he insisted that, I was like, I've got a bad feeling about this. And then so Bucky goes in. They have this COVID safe talk between the two of them because they have like this plexiglass between them. They're observing social distancing here.
It's also a prison, Ryan.
Yeah, but it wasn't like prison bars. It was plexiglass. I don't know. That's what I thought when I saw this. I thought it's like, oh, okay, they're setting a good example for everybody.
All
Um,
right, dude. Sure.
um, so Zemo, he's seemingly willing to help out if they break him out. Bucky wants to do it, but Sam does not. And then Bucky basically goes to tell Sam about it, and Sam's like, no, don't let him out, but he's already out.
Right. So, uh, so basically, the important thing here is that Bucky already had a plan to get him out before he even walked in the door. That's how I understood the sequence of events.
Sorry, we had a viewer chat in the Twitch chat, which we don't get very often.
Oh, I missed it.
I
can do the chat. You can focus on
okay. All right.
listing.
All right, and that was so we cue the title card. That was just the like the intro, I guess. So then Baron Zemo is out. They go with him. He goes to like his, I don't know, his private hangar where he has like all these super nice cars, and he picks up a bunch of his supplies and stuff, and then he picks up his iconic mask, I guess. And then they get into like his private jet with like his butler or assistant waiting for him, and I'm like, dude just got out of jail. Like, has all this stuff just been waiting for him? Like, and seemingly he's been in jail. He's been in jail since. That's true. We did find out he is a actual Baron. We spent a long time talking about this last time.
Yeah,
he was an actual Baron before Sokovia fell apart. And we actually get a little bit of backstory on what actually happened to Sokovia in the world. He said that a bunch of the neighboring countries took pieces of it, and it's just basically a non-entity now. It's not a country anymore.
Right. After all that, after all the work they put into saving the city from not falling into the earth and destroying it, it kind of destroyed the city anyway.
Yeah, which makes me think like Sokovia wasn't just the city, right? But I guess it was a pretty small country, so like if you take out the capital, it's like kind of crippled, I guess.
I understood it to be like Liechtenstein or something like that. That's my interpretation.
Okay, that would make sense. Also, Liechtenstein is very rich, so yeah, makes sense with Zemo's family. Okay, so anyway, his butler like got the jet ready immediately, so they get going on this private jet. I really like this scene on the jet when they're talking, and you actually get to see like Zemo's like personality a little bit more, and the three of them like talking and trying to plan this stuff together was like, I felt like, okay, they're actually like a cohesive unit even though they hate each other. And I feel like, no offense to Bucky and Sam, but they were lacking like the brains of an operation, you know. They were kind of just like shooting blindly in the dark. So like Zemo comes up with this plan and stuff, and he knows where he has a hunch of where to go and what they're supposed to like and he comes up with these characters that they have to play. What did you think of this scene on the airplane? Did you like their interaction? I thought it was kind of comedic, but also the team kind of actually worked, as dysfunctional as it is.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call them a cohesive team exactly, but I definitely thought they had a lot of chemistry. There was a lot of tension in the scene, so it was very interesting to watch, and you didn't want to. You're hanging on to every word because every single thing like they said it was going to be and is important. So I thought it was really well done. Pretty much anytime they're talking, it's going to be like really good conversations.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of this Zemo either in Civil War, right? It was more about him executing that grand master plan. So
right, they're always chasing him. They're always a step behind. So he never fights, he never fights the Avengers. Really, one of the great villains, I think, in at least comic book cinema.
Yeah, for sure. So Zemo he comes up with these. Oh no, I'm skipping ahead. Sorry. We get back at we get a Latvia scene with Carly and the Flag Smashers catching up with them. Carly says goodbye to her obviously somebody very important to her, a friend or a relative, who we later find out had, I think, tuberculosis. And my note here for this scene is a really quick scene, but my note here is, boy, for the bad guys, we sure seem to be pretty sympathetic for them. Like they're trying to make us really feel for them. Like they're sure going through a lot of bad stuff. So I'm just reiterating what we said last episode, which is that I'm pretty sure the Flag Smashers are the bad guys, but they're not really gonna be the bad guys. I'm still thinking something like another big reveal is gonna happen where it's like, yeah, they got a point, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So going back to the commercial that they opened with, it reminded me of the commercials they had in WandaVision, and I thought it's really well done. It makes you, I guess it reminds you how much propaganda we're fed on a daily basis, right? And here's a little bit of a tangent. I was watching a CNN, and they kept talking about something to do with U.S. and the Middle East, and they kept talking about energy. And I was like, it's so funny. They keep using the word energy when what they really mean is oil. We don't want to say the word oil. It's almost like a bad word, but that's what it is. So I like the way that Marvel puts these commercials together, and they look like real commercials. It looks like something you might see on TV, and it's meant to influence you and make you think in a certain way that might not be towards your own best interests.
Yeah, this is kind of the difference of watching this stuff as an adult. Like if I was like 12 years old watching Falcon, I'd be like, yeah, this is so awesome, and all that stuff would like totally go over my head, right? But like as an adult now, it's like, yeah, this is the world we live in. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so like what's the equivalent of like the GRC like in our world? Like, I don't know, we haven't had a blip, but I don't know, it's just whatever government or international agency is out there that's supposed to be helping people, it is actually not really.
Very, very cynical pair we are right here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. Okay, so we go to this Madripoor scene, and which is a fictional town, I guess, that they made up. That's supposedly in the comics, but they said it's in Indonesia. And Zemo gives Sam this alter ego as the smiling tiger, and Sam claims he looks like a pimp, which he does kind of look like a pimp. Bucky is falling back into the Winter Soldier persona, and then Zemo's just playing like, I don't know, himself. And they try to go to this hideout, and at first I thought this was the Power Broker's hideout himself or herself, but it's actually like, I don't know, some middleman or something named Selby, her hideout. And they have an exchange there, blah blah blah. She gives them the name of this doctor, blah blah blah. She ends up dying, I think killed by none other than the returning Sharon Carter. And then they have to try to escape from this because their cover's blown, and then Sharon Carter bails them out. So what did you think of the return of Sharon Carter? Did you like how it was done? And we can talk a little bit more about what she's been up to since the last time we saw her.
All right, let me just cut straight to my prediction. Sharon Carter is the Power Broker.
Oh, I like that one.
So she murders Selby to drive them into her hands. She knows that bounty hunters are on the way, and she's able to even get this information because, of course, everything flows through her. She somehow murders like all these people on her own because they're all paid actors, and she's setting herself to be trusted by Sam so she can get her pardon. The whole time she had a car waiting for her outside the scene, which I guess we haven't talked about yet, but Sharon has gone to the dark side. She is evil.
Okay, so if we're going with that, we can go through this. So she took them to her apartment. Her her supposed story that she tells him is she's been on the run since Civil War, which would have been 7 years if she didn't get blipped. And then
Mhm.
she claims she's been selling high end art on the black market. That's why she has such a nice place that they have, right? And
Yeah.
then she protects them while they're meeting with the doctor, Dr. William Nagel, and then they have this big fight. Blah blah blah. They Nagel's hideout blows up. She doesn't leave with them, but like you said, she has a car waiting for her. I took that to mean that she was working for the CIA. But when she got in the car, she got in the back like she's like a super high level boss or CEO or something. So actually, what you said makes more sense. In that the woman was her driver or assistant or something. So I'm kind of I'm tending to believe what you're saying here.
Yeah, the could she be working for the American government? I feel like then Captain America would know, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like she's
Uh,
not on the same. Yeah, if she's not working as the power broker, she's definitely not working with Fake Cap or the government.
yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it may be a little bit of a Mephisto esque type fan theory, but I like it. I like it's just too convenient, how she shows up in the right spot,
And that
does
would be an
everything.
interesting dichotomy, I guess, or a twist because Zemo was the super bad in Civil War, and now he's helping them, and she was their ally that helped them in Civil War, but now she's the bad guy.
I mean,
Maybe.
you right. So yeah, yeah, but and you gotta wonder like if this is the case, like uh, what was it really just like her being disavowed, or is there like other reasons why she turned from being such a force for good for now being something totally different?
Yeah, for sure. She did have one line where she said that I thought was genuine, where she was lamenting that she couldn't contact her dad. Like he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even know where I am or something like that. So to me that looked genuine, but that could I mean that line could be genuine and fall under any of our alternate theories here, right? So
Yeah, I agree.
but something like that could push somebody or could help push somebody towards, a different lifestyle choice, I guess.
Being a supervillain is now a lifestyle choice.
Lifestyle choice. It is a lifestyle choice. It's just like a drastically different lifestyle choice, right?
Technically correct.
Okay.
That's funny.
So before we move on, they did talk to Nagel for a little bit, and he said that he claimed that he had made 20 vials, and the Flag Smashers have used 8. So supposedly, if my math is correct, there's still 12 vials unaccounted for. Um,
Come on, Ryan, give yourself a little more credit. You can do 20 minus 8.
20 minus 8. I did that without a calculator, Josh. You know that. Are you
Amazing.
impressed? Are you impressed?
You're the human calculator.
Okay. So then we go back to this scene with the Flag Smashers, and then Carly. I kind of miss what was going on here, so maybe you can help me. She tied up a bunch of like guards or policemen, and then she claimed that they were hoarding supplies. So she ends up just blowing them all up. Who were those people?
Yeah, so uh so it is kind of what Sam has been saying, is they're just stealing supplies and redistributing the wealth, right? They're being a little bit of a small band of communists. And so uh at first it seems like they're not killing people, like they're just tying up the guards. Um but perhaps because Madani had just died, out of her grief, she decided she also needed to murk the GRC soldiers uh, at that supply station.
Oh, they were GRC soldiers, like guarding the
Yeah,
supplies. Okay. Yep. Okay.
right. As far as we know.
Okay. So then I have a note here. I was like, because the previous scene with Carly, I was like, oh, we're meant to be sympathetic for them. And now I was like, well, that was a little extreme, Carly. You could have just tied them up and left them there, you know? And she
Well,
just blew them all up.
right. So it seems like they're starting with noble intentions. Are they starting to crack those? Is the super soldier serum starting to get to them? You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because it enhances whatever's inside you. And
Well, this is Nagel's version, right? So
oh, that's right. That's right. So he
the
might not have
rules
had
are
that. Yeah.
the rules are a little different. So he mentioned it's like subtle. You don't get all jacked up. So although you're super strong, you look normal. You don't go through that physical transformation like and uh, Cap and like Isaiah, and I guess Bucky is Bucky meant to be super ripped? I feel like he was always ripped even as a regular soldier.
Yeah, he's just like a your normal ripped guy, I guess.
Yeah, so that's why they don't look like the other Winter Soldiers, for example.
I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot to mention that. That was and that totally went over my head. That like I forgot that Cap was like tiny, and then he took the serum, and he was
Yep.
like this ripped, dude coming out of it. Whereas these
Yep.
people, like especially like Carly, she's the leader, and she's like this small petite woman, and she's still a small petite woman, but she's just super strong now.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so we don't necessarily know like all of the if there's side effects to Nagel's version too.
Yeah, so he makes it seem like his version is perfect, which I think is a sign that it's not.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty typical villain thing to say.
For sure.
Yeah, I would be comfortable with that assumption as well. Um, so yeah, and then actually we're already towards the end of the episode. Our three new group of three musketeers go to Latvia, where Carly and them were, and let's see, Zemo has a contact there that they're supposed to go see, or a safe house or something. And Bucky opts not to go in with Sam and Zemo. Instead, he says he's gonna go for a walk. And I was like, and Sam's like, "You okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm totally fine." And I'm like, "You're not gonna be more sus of him, Sam? Like, this is like the whole reason you came here." And Bucky all of a sudden is like, "Nah, I don't want to go in. It's just I'm gonna go for a walk." He's like, "Okay." Yeah. But he lets Bucky go, and then Bucky meets up with one of Black Panther's Kingsguard ladies, which I'm gonna hand it over to you to tell us about her and her organization, because I can't pronounce any of the names.
Dang, man. So this is Ao. She's a member of. She's second in command of the Dora Milaje, who are responsible for guarding the Golden Tribe and therefore the king of Wakanda. Who at this point we're not sure. We're unfortunately, due to Chadwick Boseman passing away, we don't really know who is King of Wakanda in Marvel Universe. Seems like he will not be recast. That seems to be all indications. So there may be a little bit of a Ronin type effect here, where she's got no one to protect, so all she has left is revenge. She's got to take out Zemo, who, if you will recall, killed T'Challa's father.
Right. King T'Chaka in Civil War.
Yes.
Okay, so interesting choice they go with, and I like that you brought up the unfortunate passing of Chadwick Boseman. It raised a meta question in my head just now: is if he hadn't passed, would he have been a part of this? Do you think they would have asked him to do this? Would that have been his role?
Well, remember, uh, T'Challa is the one who catches Zemo, and he chooses not to take revenge, although he easily could have. So I feel like, and that was part of his character arc, was like learning to forgive, I guess, or like break the cycle of violence. So I don't think he would go after Zemo again if he broke out of jail. I think he would trust his allies to do whatever they got to do.
Okay, that's a good take. I agree with that. And also, that's just him, though. That doesn't account for any of his Dora Milaje. So,
Yeah, I'm sure that if he said, let it be, because also remember, they even took in Bucky in Wakanda. So I feel like, um, I don't know. I think it's up in the air. I question if it's just AO here alone or whether she's got a whole squad with her, and if she's on there on orders or on her own volition.
yeah, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. Okay, because if I were like a Kingsguard or in that type of organization, and my king were murdered, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed. Especially if he was a really good king and he did good stuff for the country and us. I think that would, yeah, I'd want revenge. Even if the new king was like, nah, don't go for it, I'd be like, okay, but if I get the opportunity, I'm still gonna
Yeah.
shank him.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're all human here.
Okay, so that was the end of the episode. You already went over your prediction. Sharon Carter is the power
Wait.
broker.
Before we get to predictions,
Yeah.
um, just want to say something that appears to be a coincidence, but had me like uh, yelling inside was the name of the person that like Carly is watching and then dies, and so the name that they give is Donya Madani, and
Hmm.
so as soon as I heard the name, I screamed out in my best Punisher voice, Madani, because it's the same last name as Madani from the Punisher Netflix series. But as far as it seems like it's just a coincidence. Uh, but are there really any coincidences in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? So I wonder if there's a relation there.
Can you go over that some more? I did not finish the Punisher Netflix series,
Oh,
unfortunately.
so Madani is like an FBI agent. Um, wait, seriously? Hold on a second. You didn't finish the Punisher Netflix series?
I didn't finish any of the Netflix series, the MCU Netflix
Wait, hold
series.
on a second. So, like any of the Defenders, like
Well, okay, I finished Iron Fist and the Defenders. Um, and from what I hear,
oh
like Iron Fist was like the worst one, and that was like the worst choice. But yeah.
yeah, I mean, I have a little bit different ranking, but that is the conventional wisdom that you watch the worst one the most, and then Defenders was also not like super amazing. So
I have, yeah. I watched, yeah. I did not watch any of Luke Cage. I watched some of Jessica Jones and some of Daredevil, and I watched the Defenders. That was it. Yeah.
I think Daredevil is must watch. I think you can skip the other stuff. But Daredevil was great, man. Daredevil was great. I liked all of them. I probably like Jessica Jones the least. Uh, but although it did have the best villain, maybe I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Ryan. Questioning you now.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, Josh. I'm sorry.
Sus, a little
Sus.
sus.
A little sus. Okay. Am I like a
So
closet like DC fan or something? Just
you, you, you're like instead of watching the Marvel Netflix shows, you're like watching reruns of Batman the animated series,
or I'm like Arrowverse, Arrowverse.
Arrowverse, Batman Beyond, all that. Uh, anyway, so basically, Madani is an FBI agent that um, is in the Punisher, is like a maybe like the second most important character in the Punisher show.
Is he an
And
antagonist towards the Punisher?
uh, it's a she.
She,
Um,
she.
she's like the she is like the only good cop. So like he has to basically work through her to. Yeah, dude, you gotta watch it. I don't want to spoil
Okay,
it.
all right, okay.
And the actress did a great job with the character. It's just a good story. It's really violent. It's great.
Okay. All right. I will try to. I will finish it. I will finish it.
Yeah,
Um.
and no powers in that show.
Oh,
So
that's
that
true.
helps.
He's like a yeah. He's a non-powered. Just.
He's just
He's a
just
like
a
the
dude
meme.
having
He's
a
a
really
man.
bad day.
Uh, what is it? That meme from John Wick. He's like he's a man of sheer commitment or something. Of
Yeah, strong
will
conviction.
will and yeah, will and commitment or something.
Although it's interesting in the comics, he technically doesn't have powers, but he's able to murk like dozens of people just by shooting them in a matter of seconds. Seems like a superhuman ability.
Super shooting. He has super shooting.
He has super aim. He has aimbot. That's what he has.
Aimbot. Aimbot. Okay. Back to predictions. You want to hear my prediction?
Yeah, go for it.
So I think Zemo's gonna help Bucky and why did I write Bucky and Cap? Bucky and Sam, get rid of the super soldiers. But I think he likes the flag. He doesn't like that they're super soldiers, but he likes their ideology because the Avengers were the ones who reversed the blip. And again, I feel like Zemo would be like, well, who are you to arrogantly assume that the blip was reversing the blip was better for everyone, you know? And so I feel like he's probably going to double cross them in the end in a way that ends up ultimately helping the Flag Smashers. If he doesn't save the super soldier guys, he's going to at least finish their whatever their ultimate goal plan is. Plan, goal, whatever. Maybe it's
so
like
he's gonna help defeat them and then carry on their mission.
yeah, and then he's going to turn on Bucky and Cap or Bucky and Sam.
Well, we know he's gonna turn on Bucky.
Well, yeah, we know he's going to turn on Bucky and Sam, but I'm saying like in a way that they won't be able to finish their mission, you know, which is it's gonna be like the new Hydra, you know, like the Flag Smashers, like you know, like these Flag Smashers are gonna be crushed or whatever, but he's gonna carry on their mission and ideology. So yeah,
Okay. All right. Interesting.
I feel like he would really hate the fact that the Avengers were arrogant enough, and I say arrogant in that like I'm talking from his point of view, arrogant enough to think that reversing the blip was the best thing for the world. You know, it seems to fall in line with what his thinking was in Civil War and how they just like arrogantly, he says they would just come in, supposedly save everything, but they don't care about the repercussions or the consequences. And he kind of has a point, which all good villains do, kind of, but because you don't see any of the Avengers like giving supplies out or something, So, but maybe we just haven't seen that yet.
That might be a little unfair.
I know. I'm saying it from Zemo's point of view. I don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah, it's interesting because he as a character, he seemed like he put a gun to his own head, if you recall, and T'Challa stopped him from murking himself at the end of Civil War. So I wonder, what's his new lease on life? Obviously, he has all the money in the world. Apparently, he was apparently like a villain all along, such that he's known in Madripoor, in Lowtown in Madripoor. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little I feel like uh, Zemo's gonna find something else to keep him going after whatever. Maybe it'll be something like super villainous, like he's gonna murder Isaiah or something like that. um, but it, as far as I can tell, Zemo seems to think once, or he's portraying himself that once these flag smashers are dealt with and these 20 vials are done for, uh, he's gonna go back to jail or whatever.
He's not gonna go back to jail, though, right?
Um,
You think he's that honorable?
well, not willingly. No, I don't think he'll go back to jail willingly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But that's what he'll say now, so that he'll. It's unclear to me like what the agreement is. It's like we broke you out. We're gonna deal with this. What happens after? I don't know if that was discussed on screen or it definitely wasn't discussed on screen. I don't know if Bucky has some kind of deal with him that we don't know about.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you have any other predictions you wanted to make, or anything else you wanted to add before we move on?
Let's see. I was not a prediction. I was a little disappointed we didn't see any X-Men in Madripoor, because that's like an X-Men place where they typically go. So there's a couple of like comic locations that are, like I mentioned, how Sokovia is supposed to be like Liechtenstein. That's how I saw it. Madripoor is one of those that represents like all of Southeast Asia. Where's Doctor Doom from? That's like Bavaria, maybe. In general. In DC, Bloodhaven is always the place that's not Metropolis or Gotham. Like that's just its purpose as an American city. So yeah, I thought it's cool that they introduced it. I grow more and more hopeful that we'll see X-Men somehow, some way. Still a little bit bitter after the Fietro fiasco. Little alliteration for you there. But anyway, proper predictions. I think not many right now. Seems pretty straightforward. Seems like Walker's he's slowly coming apart at the seams. The mantle is getting too heavy for him. I keep seeing these commercials where Sam and Bucky are practicing with the shield, so it's like a safe bet that they are in fact going to steal it. And we're halfway through the show now, so
Yeah.
it's got to be coming up soon, I think.
Yeah, Bucky did say he was going to take it, right? He's flat out said it to Sam. Yeah.
And he shouldn't have any problem with that, right? He is a super soldier.
Yeah. And like you said, in the commercials, they spoiled it, so yeah, they're probably going to get it. He might just give it up to them, though, because he did say maybe we should bet on somebody else. Maybe he's just thinking about aligning with them. No? Okay, never mind.
Really good. That would be like the least dramatic way to tell the story. So
Yeah, that's true. It's just like, hey, we're going to take it. Here you go.
Sorry. Didn't mean to disrespect your friend in his memory. Please forgive me.
End series right there.
Written by George Lucas now.
Okay. We're going to move on to our new segment, Trending Up and Trending Down. This is something that I think Josh came up with. And basically, we are just going to talk about every week we're going to pick one person trending up and one person trending down in Hollywood who we think that where their career trajectories are heading. This is not to say that if we say that they're trending down, that their career is over. And if we say that they're trending up, they're not going to be like the biggest star in the world. This is just our personal opinions. And this is just something that we thought would be interesting to talk about every week. So with that being said, Josh, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? Okay, you go first.
I'll give you my down first.
Give us your down first.
And again, not meant to be a personal attack on anyone. Just our random opinions. as far as like who's trending and who's whatever. So my pick for trending down this week is going to be Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Now,
Okay.
the last thing he did, as we all know, was Tenet. I'm going to go ahead and say Tenet is a flop. Now, why do I say that? Obviously, the pandemic had a lot to do with it, but pandemic or no pandemic, I feel like Nolan is trending down. He's done Batman, he's done Inception. Watching I was watching Rick and Morty season 1, and there's a whole Inception episode really early on, and it just shows like how like Inception is like such a how influential it was. So coming off a high of that, and then what else did he do? I forget.
Interstellar, Dunkirk.
He did, yeah, he did Interstellar. He did Dunkirk. Seems like Tenet. I haven't seen it yet. Seems like Tenet is not going well with the fans. They whatever cachet he has as far as being able to get away with overly complicated plots and premises, his welcome is wearing thin. So I'm gonna put Christopher Nolan as my trending down for this week.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you there. That is a good pick. Like I said, I think when you told me about it, I didn't know we were doing directors too. But yeah, I would kind of agree with it. He had a really good, solid outing with the Dark Knight trilogy. Inception was probably like his super big one, right? And then Interstellar was decent. But I remember when Interstellar came out, there was a sizable portion of people that saw it that didn't like it, and then of course people that did like it just accused them of not understanding it. And then Dunkirk came out, and it kind of made a splash, but not really. And then Tenet came out last year, and I think more than like the majority of people didn't like it, from what I read online. And yeah, my personal opinion on that movie was I was very looking forward to seeing it, and then when I saw it, I was like, this thing is just so convoluted and doesn't make any sense at all. Like, and like I kind of understood Interstellar and Inception and Prestige and some of his earlier stuff, but this one I just didn't understand it at all. I got what he was trying to do, but it was just I don't know. And then, like you said, the pandemic kind of wreck their financial hopes on it. So I think it's a little bit of bad luck for him, but also I think he needs I don't know. I hope he can turn it around with something else. I'm sure he's not gonna Tenet won't be his last movie.
Imagine. People did not like Tenet. I am now retiring.
Although he does not have anything in the works on IMDb, which is interesting for like a caliber director as him.
Somewhere Kathleen Kennedy is trying to sign him up for the next Star Wars film.
Oh
gosh. He hasn't done anything Marvel, right?
No. But I feel like he probably wouldn't fit within Marvel because he seems like the kind of director that wants a lot of creative control, and the Marvel directors kind of have to relinquish a lot of the control to Kevin Feige and the other higher ups. All
right, let's play Hollywood executive, as we like to do. We are now in control of Marvel Studios, but we can only hire, or we must hire Christopher Nolan to do one property. What do you give to Christopher Nolan to make a movie out of?
Well, that's tough because Avengers Endgame already did the time travel stuff, and I feel like Nolan has to do something to do with time travel.
You want me to give you some ideas?
Okay, go for it.
What if he did the next Doctor Strange movie? No, you're down on it.
Like the multiverse.
He can do whatever he wants.
Oh, he can do whatever he wants. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a solid director. he definitely do. If he did it, it would definitely be something that we hadn't seen before, and it would definitely be unique. I'll say that.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, let me give you another idea, or let me just come up with an idea right now for Christopher Nolan. Um, what if he did? We're gonna give him um, what's it called? We're gonna give him Eternals. We're taking it away from whoever has it now. We're giving him Eternals.
Oh no, you can't do that.
Why? We're
Because
Marvel.
you can't do that because Eternal's director is an Asian woman, and you can't take it from an Asian woman and give it to a white man. Uh, that's just how that's just how stuff is nowadays. You said we're Marvel Studio execs. We would get fried if we did that.
But we have to cast him somewhere. That's
Okay,
the
well you
rule. We
can't do
have to
Eternals for political reasons. You can't do
for
Eternals.
political reasons. You cannot. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. That's it. There's obviously he's already done Batman. There's some DC things I think I'd like to see him in. I'd like to see him tackle.
Um, do you want to give us your trending upwards?
Yeah. So along the vein of trending upwards, Ray Fisher, who we most recently saw play the role of Cyborg. So um, as we've talked about, I think off stream, it turns out Cyborg was the main character all along. so, uh, so because of that, because we've got to see that version of the movie, he's trending upward now. We saw he can, I don't know if he carried the movie, but he can certainly stand out in an ensemble cast, which is not easy to do when you're, in a superhero movie like that. Um, and also, it seems it shouldn't make a difference, but I'm not sure. I think I asked you about this, but you didn't seem totally aware of his like ongoing feud with DC Films. I feel like because we got to see that performance and we saw that he's not like a side character. He's not just there to play Cyborg. Um, that there's a little bit of vindication for him as far as uh, him coming in and looking good in that battle, if that makes sense. So Ray Fisher, I'm giving him a trending upwards. I'm hopeful that they work it out in DC world and we get to see him as Cyborg again.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I know that. Okay, so I know that in the old days, pre Justice League, the plan was for him to have a solo Cyborg movie, and then also have a Flash team up Cyborg and Flash movie. Uh, and then none of that ever happened, and it didn't. They didn't really. I guess it was the specific reason was because DC, the higher ups, decided that they were going to move in a different direction. Instead of trying to copy Marvel's formula, they tried to do more individualistic movies like Aquaman's and Wonder Woman's. But that still didn't explain why he couldn't get his own movie if they weren't going to do like a Justice League 2 and 3 or whatever. Um, and then also I heard that recently it came out that he had some beef with Joss Whedon, and
Yep.
that was probably the reason why his character got so eviscerated in the Whedon cut, and
Yeah. What a
and why
coincidence.
in the Snyder cut he's just like a totally different character for the better. Um, and as a lot of people say, he's like the heart and soul of the Snyder cut movie. Um,
Right.
and yeah, as far as like that was his character, but as far as him as the actor, yeah, he's a great guy. I hope he does great things in the future. I'm looking at his IMDb page. He's got one TV series announced, Women of the Movement. And he was in True Detective, I think season 3 in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got some solid stuff, and he's got a bright future ahead of him. I hope he does well. Yeah.
All right, your turn.
My turn. Okay. Since you went trending down first, I'll probably go do the same. And so my trending down is Kit Harington.
Okay.
Um, And I think I told you before we started, before we got online, that I'm rooting for him though. This is not like I.
Right, right.
I
We're
feel
rooting
like
for all these people.
yeah, we're rooting for all these people. His career since obviously Kit Harington played Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. He's had a couple of movies during Game of Thrones. Um, he hasn't had a lot of work since Game of Thrones. He's had 2 TV series credits as like a kind of like a guest star. I watched, I think both of them, but one of them was like really boring. Um, and that wasn't his fault. It was just like I don't know. The script was just blah. It was just him like monologuing in this room the whole time, and I don't know. That series wasn't for me. So he I'm rooting for him because it's been reported that he suffered some like depression and mental health issues after Game of Thrones ended because that was like his life for so long. I mean, it was 8 seasons and he was a virtually unknown actor when he got the gig. So I can see why when that's over, it's such a big part of his life. You could feel depressed from that. So obviously I'm rooting for him even more because of that. I wrote down that I hope I wrote down that I kind of think of him as like a Mark Hamill was after Star Wars ended. Like,
Interesting.
I remember. Well, I wasn't born when Star Wars came out, but I did know that like he didn't get a lot of like traditional movie Hollywood work right after Star Wars came out. He's had a decent career to be fair. It's just like it wasn't like a Harrison Ford level type career. So and a lot of people compare him to Harrison Ford obviously because they were both in Star Wars and stuff like that. So I hope it doesn't. I mean, if he's happy with that, that's great. But I hope he can get more prominent work if he wants. And so he does have one big thing coming up. He will be in the Eternals movie this November for the MCU. So that's a good thing. I just chose him because I like him, and I'd hoped after Game of Thrones he would go on to do big budget movies and stuff like that, and it hasn't really manifested yet like that. But maybe he doesn't want to do that, or he just wants to have a good work-life balance. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna push back on the Mark Hamill thing a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
So Mark has had not the Harrison Ford career, of course. What he has done, and what a lot of people don't realize, he did a ton of work on Broadway actually after Star Wars. After he did Star Wars, so it seemed to maybe if you were just only in Hollywood circles that he was out of work, but nothing could be further from the truth. And then likewise, he's had an amazing voice acting career. He is the voice of the Joker.
Yes, I do know that. Yeah.
He's Fire Lord Ozai. He's done all these things that we may not even realize. So I don't know if Mark was ever training downward ever in his career. And that may be just the fanboy in me speaking, but that's just my 2 cents.
Okay.
And then,
I will say this, like as a fan, I want to see more of Kit Harington. So if he does go that route with like a lot of Broadway, I'm not gonna go like to New York and watch Broadway or London or whatever. So like
that's interesting. So like if you follow someone, but they only do like shows in a certain place that you can't watch easily, that's tough, right?
Yeah, I mean that's more power to them. If they want to do that. I just can't as a fan enjoy that. I like it when I see that they. I like it when I see that actors have a variety of different mediums that they perform in, but like I can't enjoy it because even if I was in one of those cities, like Broadway plays are expensive, man. Like
they are.
So it's like unless somebody can find a way to like, I don't know. I guess what is that organization like? Sometimes they show Broadway plays in theaters, like on event nights. I forgot, like sometimes they advertise it in the cinemas.
I'm not sure. I'm not a Broadway person.
Yeah,
so
but I mean, you'd have to really follow it, and you can't consume it normally as a fan. So
Yeah,
unless they're
exactly.
like your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad or your kids, I'm not gonna
In
or
which
your
case
best
they'd
friend.
be getting you tickets.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So the other thing I want to say here, it looks like Kit Harington in the not to spoil the movie too much, but I'm looking at the character, like the name character, and this is a known Marvel character. Uh, the character he's playing is not an Eternal.
is a human or
He is well, he is a human at one point. Um, I'll just say yes.
okay?
He's
So
human.
when they did the Eternals movie announcement and they brought out the cast, he was not part of that like that cast that they brought out,
Yeah, probably because he's not
an
an
actual
Eternal.
Eternal.
Yeah,
Coincidentally, his Game of Thrones brother, Robb Stark, Richard Madden, was an Eternal.
yeah, I
So
don't know.
I don't know.
Weird. So and again, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. Does he carry Game of Thrones? Is that like his show?
Well, like spoilers. Like Game of Thrones is famous for killing off its like main characters, right?
Yeah, I've read the books.
Yeah. Okay, so like he doesn't really carry it in the first few seasons, but definitely the last 2 or 3 seasons, he's one of the like um they called him behind the scenes. They called him like the Big Five. So he's one
Mhm.
of the Big Five in the last couple seasons.
Got it.
Um, yeah, and I mean, and it's not really his fault that the last couple seasons kind of tanked in fan opinions, but it is what it is. So
All right, one down.
okay, so that was my trending down, and then my trending up, which I'm surprised you did not take this, is Pedro Pascal.
That's a good one.
Um,
Well, is it?
well,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, all right.
Give it to
Let
me.
me give my spiel first, and then you can argue if you want.
Before you give your before you go before me, are you only picking Game of Thrones actors?
No. I mean, the other 4 people are not on Game of Thrones that I picked. So
Okay.
this is just coincidence. Uh, yeah, this is just coincidence. This just happened to be the 2 that I wrote the most notes on at the time we did this. So
Okay. All right.
um, okay, so Pedro Pascal, he is coming off of 2 successful seasons of The Mandalorian, with a 3rd announced. He's had recent high-profile movies, which include Kingsman 2, Equalizer 2, Wonder Woman 2, in which he plays the villain in all of them. So, if you need a sequel, good sequel villain, go with Pedro Pascal. And then it's announced that he's going to be in the Last of Us series, and he has 3 other projects in the works outside of Mandalorian and the Last of Us. So he seems to be like a pretty busy guy. His career has kind of skyrocketed in the last few years, ever since, I guess, Game of Thrones. So yeah, that's my pick for trending upwards.
So I'm surprised you didn't mention his most recent announcement, which is he is going to play the lead character in The Last of Us, the TV series.
No, I just said that. I said that.
Oh, I missed it.
Okay.
Also, apparently he was in Princess Bride. Like, is this a remake or something?
Oh, yeah. Did you see? You didn't see it, or did you see it?
I've seen the original. I did not know they remade it.
Do you
Is
know?
Nothing
Okay.
Sacred?
Okay. Let me go with it. Okay. No. Hold on. I had the same reaction, but have you ever heard of Quibi?
Quibi? No. What is Quibi?
Okay, so Quibi was this thing that they came out with like at the end of 2019, early 2020. Great time to start a new business, by the way. And it stands for Quick Bites. And what it is they tried to create this new content streaming service that had like, they called them TV series or web series, and each episode is only like 5 to 12 minutes because they were the thinking was that people, when they're like on public transportation or they're waiting at the doctor's office or something, they just want to watch something really quick and they don't have time to watch like a whole half-hour episode or a sitcom or something. So they were hoping it was going to be a big hit internationally as well, because public transportation is pretty big internationally, at least in Europe and Asia. But unfortunately,
wow, dude, what a statement! Public transportation is pretty popular.
Unfortunately, 2020 happened, and that just like threw all their plans like, you know, down the drain. But this was one of the things that they did, and I got to tell you, it was probably the best thing that they actually did. And it was right when lockdown happened, and so there was like all these celebrities who had nothing to do because all their productions were shut down. So they had like, it was like dozens of celebrities recorded scenes from Princess Bride using their cell phones. And they just they played out the entire movie scene for scene, and no one celebrity is in it for more than, I'd say, like 7-8 minutes. So there's like a bunch of different people playing all of the different characters in it.
Yeah, so I clicked through. Apparently Zazie Beetz was in it, and now I'm realizing Zazie Beetz is in like so many different things. I didn't even know her name, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they had tons of people, and some of them played like, they did like reverse sexes. Like I think Sophie Turner and her husband Joe Jonas were in it, and then so I was like, oh, she's gonna play the princess, and he's gonna play Wesley. But then they played the opposite roles. So it was pretty funny. And then of course Jack Black is in it, and of course, like, you know, this is like right up Jack Black's alley. Yeah. I think he played Inigo Montoya. So it was no, he played Wesley. He played Wesley. Never mind.
Yeah.
But like, there's this scene, you know, the scene where Wesley's supposed to be climbing the cliff and Inigo is waiting for him.
Yes.
So, he filmed it, like he had like one of his kids filming with the cell phone. Instead of like filming it down a cliff, he found like some really flat level stairs in his backyard, and he just like laid down on it. And they made it seem like it was a cliff. It was just hilarious, like, because I don't know, it was so ingenious because you're doing this with a cell phone and like super low level tech, and it was just hilarious. It was great, and it was obvious that everybody in it like loves Princess Bride, and it was just like a great tribute by everybody.
That's my wife's favorite movie.
Good choice. Good pick by her. Good taste.
Yep.
Okay, so those are our picks for this week's trending up and down. We're coming up on an hour and 3 minutes here, so I think this is a good place to stop. Next week, we're going to do Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4. Josh will have seen Godzilla and King Kong, so if we have time, we'll add that on to the end of our trending up and down. Josh, you want to add anything before we leave?
Just an update on things I've watched lately. So I finished Rebels. I cried. It's only 4 seasons. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. I also, what's the other? So I was gonna go to bed, and then I saw the Dota series on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I'll just watch one quick episode. I stayed up all night binging it. So,
okay.
I'll let you.
Okay, it's funny you said that. Rudy's in the chat. Rudy says Rebels was incredible, and I know for a fact that Rudy really wanted to watch the Dota series. So you've got one recommendation from Josh here. I haven't seen it yet, but since it's got Josh's recommendation, I might try to get through that this week. Rudy says he's 3 episodes in. Yeah.
Good job, Rudy. Yeah, Rudy. It's What are you gonna watch it for, or should I sell you on it?
I'm gonna watch it now that you both. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
don't spoil too
It's
much.
okay. It's not like the most amazing thing I've ever seen, but it's um yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll spend some time talking about it.
We'll spend some time talking about it next week. Okay. Right now I'm watching the new Mighty Ducks series on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I was really anticipating that.
Is it good?
It's not what I expected. It's I'll just spoil it a little bit. It's the Ducks are like now like this huge franchise player. They're like the Yankees, so like they won't. They have like really high requirements to be on their team. So like all the young kids that aren't good enough get they won't even or they cut them. So like one of the kids that gets cut, he like starts to form his own team of misfits, and so that's like the premise of the show. And so it's kind of like how the Ducks started out, right? They were like the super underdogs, they were the misfits, but now they're like
Yeah.
the Yankees. So like you know, um, and it's got Emilio Estevez in it.
Oh, interesting.
And there's some shenanigans as Mighty Ducks is known for. So I'm looking forward to watching it some more. It's Disney Plus, so it only releases one episode every week. So I'm only on the second episode right now. But yeah, I'll take a look at the Dota series. And then you're gonna watch King Kong tomorrow, and then if we have time, we'll talk about him next week.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Like I mentioned, I'm also going through Rick and Morty. So yeah, we'll reconvene next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, everybody.